Good afternoon. And thank you all for coming. I would ask that you all please stand as the St. Paul Police Honor Guard and Firefighters Local 21 Color Guard present the colors.
Forward. Left. 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 Palm left. Mark left. Deacon. Left. Present.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Right. Hey. Palm left.
Thank you. Please be seated. Good afternoon. My name is Kathy Lantry, and I am president of the St. Paul City Council. And on behalf of my colleagues on the City Council, I'd like to welcome you all to the 2013 State of the City Address. And as you came in today, hopefully you noticed that we were being serenaded by the beautiful music of David Sutton. So a big thank you to David as he played for us as everyone was walking in today. Every year, around this time, spring and winter battle for a hold on St. Paul. And every year, I know, and it seems like winter is winning, but I feel like it's going to change. But every year, I am honored to be asked by the mayor to serve as MC for this important event. And so I really appreciate all of you being here today. On your chairs, you will find a document outlining the mayor's vision for building a dynamic city. Having a vision is extremely important, particularly at a time when we have accomplished so much of what we have set out to do. We continue to move the city forward with strategic investments in every corner and every neighborhood. We have a downtown district that is buzzing with culture, life, and an ever-rising demand for housing. We are a strong community with flourishing green spaces and bustling commercial corridors. But our city is only as good as the people who make it home. As we emerge from the worst recession in the history of our country, we have the opportunity to be thoughtful and deliberate about what we want our city to become. The state of the city is strong and getting stronger. And as you can see around me, we're trying something new this year. Hashtags. So I'm a little bit concerned about this since we're going to, as you watch the video and you hear the mayor give his remarks and you feel the urge to tweet, make sure to use the hashtag SOTC 2013. And there has been a short video that has been produced, and we traveled to all corners of the city and asked people one question: what is St. Paul to you? And as you will see, St. Paul is positioned very well to have a meaningful impact on the lives of its residents. Cue the video. We didn't practice this part, so hopefully it'll just happen.
St. Paul is everything.
The great place to raise a family.
An appealing place to live, appealing place to work, and a great place to do business.
St. Paul is a place for public and private investment.
A place to grow your business, it's a place to grow your family, and it's a place to grow your community.
I am so happy that we built our store in St. Paul. The city has been behind us. The city was wonderful. This is the reason if I build again, I'll probably build right here.
Since we moved, yeah, it's been really, really busy. Our sales are up, our customer counts are up, our average ticket sales are up.
We wouldn't be here at the Highland Grill without the Star Loan program. The St. Paul program invested in us and allowed us to invest further in ourselves, and we just paid off our loan last year and we're really proud of that.
And I reached out to the city of St. Paul and they contacted me and asked, what do you think about the Hams Brewery site? I absolutely fell in love with this building. Once we get this site back on its feet, back where it should be, this site and the east side of St. Paul will be a destination as well.
We're creating a local food economy that not only will create greater access for people in terms of eating fresh produce, but will also create jobs and hopefully then spur more economic development.
The light rail is going to really improve that idea that you move people, you can move a city, and I think that's why I'm here. That's why I'm staying here.
We moved here because we knew the light rail was coming in, so we wanted to make sure that we were in a really good location. We figured it would be a perfect opportunity to get us set up for the future.
I'm hearing a lot of different developments here in the community itself, with more restaurants looking to open and myself looking to expand.
Once the light rail comes through, it'll definitely be another big boost to our traffic.
The best way to have a strong city is when you have this strong connection and work together with the mayor and the school districts.
It's a $120 million redevelopment, so it takes a lot of different partners to make it feasible. The biggest one obviously was the city of St. Paul. Without their partnership, it wouldn't have been feasible.
What you're seeing is really investments being made in this facility that aren't necessarily going to increase its capacity to a large degree or increase the amount of people that we employ. What we're doing is trying to keep the products we make today here in St. Paul, as well as the people we employ today.
When we started working with the Blacks Band of Ojibwe, and we were looking at marketplaces that they would like to go into from a hospitality perspective, St. Paul was a great fit.
Working together with the city allows us as educators as well as the city to prepare the workforce in a better way.
I believe in the workforce here in Minnesota, and specifically in St. Paul, is one of the best workforces in the world.
We've been in this location for 6 years. Fortunate that the restaurant here was available at a time in my life where I was able to jump into it. And from here we chose to buy a house not too far away and stay in the neighborhood.
There aren't a lot of 1903 era bars that are in the original location, that are in the kind of condition this is in. So looking at this bar and just thinking, wow, what a treasure. And then we're basically trying to be that neighborhood pub that everybody in the neighborhood knows about and feels comfortable coming to.
We get people from Wayzata, we get people from Duluth driving down here, Rochester. It's not uncommon that people come in here on Saturday and they'll say, we came up here to have breakfast and then we wanted to shop at your store because we've heard so much about it.
Can you imagine what it's going to be like if we're up 30% in February, what it's going to do like in June, July, and August?
So it's just exciting to see all this activity happening, the jobs on site, and the chance to see the lights back on at the brewery.
First year revenue at Highland Grill was about $110,000, and now we're a $20 million company with 430 employees.
Right now we're sitting at over 100 employees. If you go back to 2009, we were just over half that level, and we expect to continue to grow, and most of that growth will happen right here in the city.
You can see it both from a community standpoint, from a business standpoint, and from an individual standpoint. All the people investing, buying homes down here, the renovation and the rejuvenation of Lowertown, and all the restaurants and food and beverage and the exciting scene that's down here. We're just so excited to be a part of that.
St. Paul is an art leader, and it's an opportunity for artists to live and work in the city.
Community that supports growing businesses in ways that I don't think we'd see in other places.
Is a place where we're really proud to invest in.
The role model for urban agriculture nationally.
St. Paul is diversity.
In my mind, St. Paul is a place to grow.
And be able to ensure that you have a quality of life with safety and an opportunity for your child to become a successful citizen in the future.
For me, St. Paul is home.
It's where I live, it's where I'm raising my family.
Yeah, without St. Paul, I have nothing. With St. Paul, I've been very, very blessed.
But St. Paul really is our city.
It really does make you proud to be a part of such exciting things, but you know, a 6-minute video can only show so much. So without further ado, I want to introduce the Honorable Mayor Chris Coleman.
Thank you so much. Once again, thank you, Kathy, for your leadership and your partnership and your willingness to introduce the State of the City and the budget addresses. I love that video. When I watch it, I get a little choked up with pride for my hometown. It will be, I think, our most important selling video that we have, kind of our new promotional piece for the City of St. Paul. But when I was watching it, this is the second time or third time that I've seen it, I realized that Eric Foster was eating at High's restaurant during the course of the video. So our restaurant owners are starting to exchange with each other, and maybe that's the best sign of all. This is really, truly a world-class city. But the reason it's world-class is it's made up of world-class residents. It is a wonderful thing to be the mayor of this beautiful, beautiful town. And I love getting up here to talk about the state of the city. But oftentimes, the State of the City speeches are just highlight reels where we talk at length about all that we've accomplished. Make no mistake, we have accomplished a great deal in the city of St. Paul these last several years. And it's a list that is familiar but bears repeating. We're 1 year away from the Green Line's first trip down University Avenue. Projects like the lofts at Farmers Market, the Chittenden and Eastman building, and the Penfield are just the beginning of the development that we'll see in the coming years. This spring, we'll break ground on the regional ballpark in Lowertown. In about 9 months, the first bag of groceries will be sold from Lund's to a new resident of the Penfield. The fact that the the lofts at Farmers Market were 100% occupied by the time we even cut the ribbon on the building proves the strength of our downtown residential market. The beautifully renovated Union Depot opened this past year, and soon we'll see Amtrak passenger service at our regional transit hub. While the public sector has been an important catalyst for the growth we've seen, it is the private sector investment that is really beginning to take off. In every corner of the city, new investment is shaping the neighborhood landscape. One great example is Ward 6, the new pub and restaurant on Payne Avenue. With great food and a fantastic beer selection, I might add, it's quickly become the it place on Payne Avenue. Eric Foster, who's with us today, is one of the restaurant's 2 owners. Several years ago, he was living out east when he and his wife decided it was time to find a place that they could make a permanent home. They only knew a few folks in the Twin Cities, but Eric and his wife wanted to live in a vibrant, hip, safe, affordable, and welcoming community. And it had to have a good beer selection. They chose the Dayton's Bluff neighborhood. After moving there, Eric met Bob Parker, who had traveled around the globe opening up TGIF restaurants. At Ward 6, these two have created a unique neighborhood pub and a community gathering spot. Eric and Bob could have opened up a restaurant anywhere in the country. They chose St. Paul. And along with Kendall's Ace Hardware, Urusso's, Serlin's, and a host of other great spots along the avenue, they are reshaping Payne Avenue. If you don't believe me, just ask The Line magazine, which recently ran an article titled, "Our Next Hot Neighborhood. Put your money on Payne Avenue." We shouldn't forget that it takes a lot of long-term work to create a trendy neighborhood. Let's not forget everyone who fought so hard to build the Phelan Boulevard. That public investment paved the way for private investment that we're seeing today. Councilmember Bostrom played a key role in that battle. Let's give him a round of applause for representing the hottest new neighborhood in the Twin Cities. Who knew that Bostrom was such a trendsetter? Just a few weeks ago in this very room, the Mille Lacs Band of Ojibwe announced their purchase of both the Crowne Plaza and the Doubletree hotels. Seeking to diversify their holdings, the band looked for a great place to invest. They found it in St. Paul. Along with Jim and Ben Graves of the Graves Hospitality Group, they will transform these two hotels into vibrant destinations downtown, including significant changes to the street presence of both buildings. Jim Graves recently told me that maybe I'm too close to understand how dramatically the perception of St. Paul has changed in the last several years in the development community. I assured him that I'm not too close, but I can tell you it is nice to have that validation from an outside source. Our investors have jumped at the opportunity created by the Green Line's rapidly approaching start of operations. Jim Stolpelstead, who's also with us today, of Exeter Realty, plans to convert the old post office into 250 market rate units. Jim sees the promise not only of light rail, but of all the investments that we're making in downtown, including the ballpark. Rich Packinen has been a longtime believer in St. Paul. In addition to the Lowry Building and the Rossmore Building, he is now transforming the Pioneer Endicott Building into 234 market rate apartments and almost 32,000 square feet of commercial space. In a few years, the vast Sears site will be almost unrecognizable from its current one-building operation. Quite honestly, when the folks from Sears came in to meet with me, I was a little worried about what they were going to say to me in the heels of Macy's closing. But they not only are staying open, Sears plans to transform the site into a vibrant, transit-oriented development. In their first phase of the development, Sears plans to reorganize their existing retail store to incorporate the auto repair center and add new retail, office space, and 130 units of housing and structured parking. These investments across St. Paul are happening in downtown, along the corridor, and in our neighborhoods. At the Schmidt Brewery, buildings are being restructured as artist lofts to create a vibrant mixed-use urban village with affordable housing and commercial space. At the Ham site, new businesses are popping up in spaces once thought unusable. In St. Anthony, Colossal Cafe has become a great new part of a great old neighborhood. These aren't random acts of investment. People are investing in St. Paul because St. Paul is investing in itself, its culture, its infrastructure, and its vibrancy. One critical investment that will soon get underway is the new concert hall at the Ordway. When completed, it will not only create a world-class home for the orchestra, but it will also double the use of the Ordway. This means growth and expansion for the Minnesota Opera, the Schubert Club, the Ordway itself, and a chance for new and emerging groups to perform at the crown jewel of St. Paul. Many of us have watched with concern the protracted lockout of the St. Paul Chamber Orchestra. The SBCO is truly one of St. Paul's greatest assets. That's why I'm so hopeful that we will soon file into our seats to hear our favorite musicians play on the Ordway stage. This will require sacrifice and compromise for both sides in the dispute. But at the end of the day, the St. Paul Chamber Orchestra is bigger than any one of us. The most important thing is that we reunite these musicians with their audience, and let's hope that we get that done soon. We've accomplished a lot these past several years, but things are not perfect. The persistence of the achievement gap between white and minority students confounds us. Overall, crime rates are low, but that's little comfort to a person who has been a victim of a crime or a family that has lost a loved one to violence. We celebrate the progress of the Central Corridor, but other regions are building out their transit systems at a dizzying pace. While we know private investment in our city is key to its continued strength, our outdated technology and the lack of customer focus makes that too difficult all too often. And though the closing of Macy's may have been inevitable, the loss of the last remaining department store in a city that once held 8 department stores in its downtown is a reminder that our work is not done. Yes, we can and we should pause to celebrate all we've accomplished, but we must not sit back and admire what we've done. Rather, let's accelerate the pace of change and continue to work on all that will make our great city even greater. As the days of the large downtown department store are gone, so too are the days when we could assume every child born in St. Paul would naturally live out the rest of their lives here in their city. We have to work hard to make sure that St. Paul is not only the city where kids born in St. Paul wish to live, work, and raise a family, but also where people from across the country and across the globe want to live, work, and raise a family. The fastest growing demographic in St. Paul is 25 to 34-year-olds, making up nearly 26% of our downtown population. That's a great thing. As Eric Foster from Ward 6 first decided he wanted to live in St. Paul before ultimately deciding to open a restaurant, we know that many entering the workforce today are likely to choose a city that they want to live in first, and then where they want to work. There are a number of ways that people refer to this demographic. Generation Y, millennials. For Connie and me, it's Molly and Aiden. But whatever their name, the truth is the same. They are the future workforce for our city. They're the residents who will call our neighborhoods home. On the one hand, they're risk takers. They'll keep pushing the envelope on what it means to live in a city. On the other hand, they're looking for the same things the rest of us are: jobs, transit, safe streets, good schools, affordable housing, and a vibrant mix of music, theater, and the arts. We have a general sense of what they're looking for, and we're doing a lot of great things. We're doing a lot of things right. Crashed Ice, Jazz Fest, music venues, great libraries, parks, and places to eat. But we have to enhance our knowledge of what young professionals are looking for in a city. That's why in the coming days, I'll be heading out to Hamline University, Metropolitan State University, and McAllister College to meet with young people to ask, what does St. Paul offer you that makes you want to live here? What can we do to attract you for the next decade and decades to come? Hearing directly from our young people about what they're looking for in a city will help us get an idea of the kinds of things that we should be planning in the short and long term. One example of a young adult that has come from afar to become a part of St. Paul's vibrant music scene is with us today. Spencer Suka recently moved from Ronan, Montana to St. Paul, actually to our front room. As an aspiring bass player, he's met with local musicians, toured McNally Smith, and this afternoon is heading over to Walker West Academy to check it out. St. Paul is the kind of place that offers a young man from Ronan, Montana, an opportunity to pursue his passion. It's a great place to be, whether you've been here for generations or you're newly installed in St. Paul, and we have to continue to make it so. For me, the work ahead can be summed up in 5 T's: tracks, trails, talent, technology, and traction. First, the tracks. Well, this coming year will give us one of the greatest reasons to cheer in a long time: the opening of the Central Corridor light rail line after 30 years of discussion. We must fight to make sure that the East Metro receives its full share of transit investment in the coming years and decades. A critical first step came a few weeks ago with the leadership of Council Members Stark, Tolbert, and Thune. The city formally requested that the Ramsey County Regional Rail Authority conduct a study of the Riverview Corridor. This study is the first step in completing the transit triangle that will connect downtown with the airport and the Mall of America. Discussion about this corridor has been delayed too long, and I'm thrilled that we're working together to move this forward. We're also planning to move forward on streetcars in the city. The first of 3 phases of a streetcar study is now complete. Smaller than light rail and sharing the road with motor vehicles, streetcars are great at connecting neighbors to neighborhoods. Imagine taking a train from the east side to downtown St. Paul to catch a show at the Ordway, or having a short streetcar ride from your home on the north end to a baseball game at the Lower Town Ballpark. Combined with transit options like light rail, hour cars, bus rapid transit, and bike sharing programs, streetcars have the potential to truly launch St. Paul into the international stage of world-class transportation systems. One clear lesson we've learned as we fought to build out the Green Line was that if we in the East Metro are not fighting hard for transit investment, we can't expect anyone else to do it for us. When we came together to advocate for the Central Corridor, we were a force to be reckoned with. Together as the East Metro Transit Alliance, we made sure the Central Corridor was the second light rail line funded in the Twin Cities. Between business and philanthropic leaders, as well as state and local elected officials from the East Metro, from Forest Lake to Red Wing, Maplewood to Stillwater, we stood together to demand that investment in transit was regionally balanced. We need to jumpstart our transit advocacy once again in the East Metro. Therefore, I've asked Matt Kramer of the St. Paul Area Chamber of Commerce and County Commissioner Jim McDonough to reconstitute the East Metro Transit Alliance. Together, we'll advocate for equal transit investment on this side of the region. I want to thank Jim and Matt for their leadership, and let's make sure the East Metro gets its fair share of investment in transit. We also know that trails, the second T, are an important part of the transportation infrastructure. We're blessed with incredible hiking, walking, and running paths in St. Paul. One can bike along the river on Shepherd Road, run along the Mississippi River Boulevard, walk along Como Lake, or commute to work down Summit Avenue. It's important to remember that trails aren't just ways to get exercise. They're a growing method of commuting for many. In 2008, only 31% of 16-year-olds and 77% of 19-year-olds had a driver's license, numbers dramatically lower than 1978 of 50% and 92% respectively. Ease of commuting by bike is a critical component of making our city attractive to a new generation of workers. In the coming year, we'll examine how we can add more bike lanes throughout downtown St. Paul. Doing so will not only make it easier to commute, it will increase the number of Nice Ride and bike share programs or users in the city. I've committed to expanding Nice Ride throughout the city of St. Paul. It's a great way to get around at lunchtime. It's a very good opportunity for people to go to festivals like this year's Northern Spark Festival, concerts at Mears Park, or perhaps shopping at the farmers market on the weekend. But in addition to our work on new trails, we have to make sure that we have one of the most connected and one of the most extensive trail systems in the entire country. I'm requesting that our staff work with Minneapolis and Hennepin County officials to build a direct connection between the Greenway in the West Metro to the Gateway and Ventral trails in the East Metro. These trails are like bike superhighways, but right now there's a large gap between them. Imagine if we can create a seamless connection that will allow someone to bike from Stillwater to Excelsior, or from either end to hit the Munger Trail and head to Duluth. We have the opportunity to create one of the most extensive bike trail systems in the entire country. It would continue this region's reputation as the best biking city in America and would show we're serious about expanding trails for future generations. While attracting talent, our third T, to the city of St. Paul is an important focus of our work, it is secondary to the work that we must do to make sure that every child raised in St. Paul has the tools he or she needs to be successful and productive citizens in our city. Great transit systems and trails, music festivals and ballparks help us attract talent. Education helps us grow it. As I frequently say, education is my economic development strategy, it's my public safety strategy, it's my neighborhood development strategy. And since 2006, we've redefined what it is for a city to be involved in education. Whether as a partner to Superintendent Valeria Silva and her work to build strong schools and strong communities, or through Sprockets leading the build-out of a citywide network of quality out-of-school time programs, our work has become a nationally recognized model of cooperation. Through our work in the St. Paul Promise neighborhood, we've learned of the importance of coordination and community involvement in our efforts. With the leadership of Councilmember Carter, the support of the Wilder Foundation and its leader, Michael Hong, we made real progress in the Promise neighborhood. The disappointment that we feel in not receiving federal backing to expand our work there does not lessen our resolve to change outcomes for our children. We're laser focused on preparing our children for kindergarten, making sure they can read by third grade, helping them on the road to college, and supporting family stability. The lessons we've learned in the Promise neighborhood must be shared across St. Paul. While every neighborhood has a large number of great programs, we'll begin to create the kind of collaboration we're seeing in Frogtown and Summit University. The Power of the Promised Neighborhood approach will unite community partners across the city, and we will continue to make progress on finally closing the achievement gap in the city of St. Paul. Another way we'll help grow our talented workforce from within is to make sure our kids are career ready. Workplace readiness is something we know many students lack upon graduation from high school. Partnering with our local businesses to engage these students before graduation has proved vital to workplace preparation. And we began to strengthen and broaden that relationship with a crucial new initiative called Right Track. This is a new partnership between the City of St. Paul Youth's Job Corps, the school district, Genesis Works, and our local business community. Companies will hire students who have had at least one job already through the city's Youth Summer Jobs program. Those students receive career readiness training and coaching from Genesis Works and may also attend career-specific classes at selected high schools. In their senior year, they're eligible for a full summer of career preparation and college readiness training, followed by a year-long paid internship at one of many of our local companies. In order for this program to truly have the impact that we know it can, we need every possible business to step up and help. If any of the business owners in this room can help, I'm asking you to commit to be a part of this critical program and to ask your friends and businesses to join you. One business that has already stepped up is Gov Delivery and its CEO, Scott Burns. Scott understands the necessity of having a talented workforce here at home, and I want to thank him for his leadership on behalf of our future workforce. I want to point out Catherine Penkert from our Parks Department and my Education Coordinator, Jane Eastwood, who are in the room, I believe, over here. Stand, please. Because I want you guys all to connect with the two of them. And if you can help, if you have a job for a child, for one of our youth, make sure you connect up with them. Reach out to them, join this effort, and let's help our kids become career ready. Thank you. As we prepare our children for our future, we as a city government must live up to the standards of preparedness we're laying out for our students. This means being a city that values technology, our fourth T, and has the flexibility to adapt to the future. The pace of technological change is stunning. Just as soon as I mastered texting, tweeting became one of the most important communication tools. Things like mobile apps used to be viewed as frivolous, considered to be more entertainment than anything else. Today, they're necessary tools, and being able to utilize and understand them is an essential piece to competing in a 21st century marketplace. In the era of rapidly changing technology, people often ask if our libraries are relevant anymore. But in fact, it's the St. Paul Public Library system that is leading us into the 21st century digital world, offering e-magazines, e-books, free digital music, and a mobile app that is nearing 1 million visits per year. We can truly be proud of a library system that is keeping both our youth and adults educated on the most recent technology. A new partnership of the library and the St. Paul Community Literacy Consortium, called the North Star Digital Literacy Project, is an example of an innovative partnership to address the issue of digital learning. It improves workforce skills and helps job seekers, employers, and community organizations alike. Since its launch late last year, over 31,000 people have taken an assessment on the public website, and 5,400 people through a sponsoring agency. 51 organizations in 13 cities now offer the certificate of completion, including libraries, community organizations, technology centers, schools, and job training centers. In recent weeks, 2 agencies in Chicago and San Jose, California, have become the first non-Minnesota sites to offer a North Star certificate. Technological excellence is no longer a choice, it's a necessity. In this digital age, we must meet residents where they are, and they're frequently on their smartphones. We can use this fact to make our city more responsive to our residents. I know that our council members frequently ask, how can people get a hold of me and complain more easily? That's why today, as of today, we've launched St. Paul Connect, our own mobile app available on Android and iPhone. Have a question about traffic lights? Encounter a pothole? You can get help right on the site. You can find more information about St. Paul Connect by going to our homepage, stpaul.gov, and clicking on the mobile St. Paul button. The link will take you to a dedicated webpage where we're featuring recommended apps to residents, visitors, or business persons in St. Paul. Everyone should be able to access the site. Whether it's looking for events in the capital city, connecting to your neighborhood library, or wanting to report a pothole that needs repair, we believe these apps will enhance everyone's experience in the city of St. Paul. We will be a first 21st century technologically advanced city in the city of St. Paul. All that we've accomplished, all that we have commenced, whether in the physical infrastructure or the social network of support for our children, gives us reason to celebrate in St. Paul. But too often in the past, we've taken a step forward and then sat back and admired our work. Having the tracks, trails, talent, and technology means nothing if we don't also have the traction, the final T, to sustain our work. 10 years ago, many of us worked hard to keep Dayton's open. While not the only game in town, the loss of it would have been a serious blow to a city that was struggling before the Xcel Energy Center opened, while the Science Museum was still being built. The St. Paul of today looks much different. Now the current Macy's block represents an opportunity to prove that our momentum is for real. We must make the most of this opportunity. In a core downtown that is limited in geography, we have to maximize every opportunity to bring business downtown. In addition to the critical site at Macy's, several other key opportunities for redevelopment must be seized, including the Wabasha Court site and the West Publishing Building. While I have plenty of thoughts about how to develop this area, what I think isn't nearly as important as what a business owner or a developer thinks. While I'd love to see a Class A tower rise out of the old Macy's site, we should understand if that's a vision rooted in future business needs. To help us better understand the potential of these sites, I've asked Ecolab CEO Doug Baker, along with Greater MSP's head Michael Langley, to lead a task force to explore the highest, best, and most practical use for these sites. This group will include other business and community leaders and will move quickly to implement the vision that's developed. Let's thank Michael and Doug in advance for their work on behalf of our city. We made business friendliness a priority in St. Paul, for more and more local businesses are choosing to invest here. But as many of our council members and local business owners know, navigating the permit process can be tricky. We as a city can do much better. A program we're calling Permit St. Paul would electronically guide potential business owners and investors in St. Paul through the process of applying for permits to build or grow a business in the city. Imagine sitting on your couch and applying for a permit to build a garage or a chicken coop. Imagine being a business owner looking to start in the city and having a system in place that guides you every step of the way. This is a business-friendly and resident-friendly solution whose time has come. I look forward to working with council members Brenmo and Lantry to make this program a reality. It's a better way to keep up the momentum in the city of St. Paul, to maintain traction. We have to attract private investment, and that's when we will know that St. Paul is on the right track. I can say with conviction that the state of our city is strong and growing stronger. Our accomplishments over the past several years have been remarkable. We built a city that is vibrant, safe, welcoming to all residents, friendly to families, and a leader on the national stage. We have a choice to make. We have two hands, and we're standing on the ladder of success. We can either use one of those hands to pat ourselves on the back and feel good about what we've done, or we can decide to keep climbing and reach for the next rung. To me, the choice is clear. We've come a long way. We have a lot to be proud of. Let's take a moment to enjoy our success. But let's keep moving forward. Together, we'll build on our accomplishments and truly make St. Paul the most livable city in America. Thank you for your help.